Hey guys, I'm back from being sick. I am no longer sick this time, which is nice because that lasted like a week and a half. My hair does not realize it though. It still thinks I'm in the midst of a fever. So you guys are just going to have to bear with me on that. But with me today are my two co hosts, the blonde, the white, the Katie, and Val.
Oh, I thought you were picking one of the two of us
I know.
out specifically, and I was like, wait, but this is too generic.
Dude, basically, I mean.
Also, this is unresolved textual tension, everyone. Will didn't say that.
Oh, yeah, no, in case here on episode 7 of our
82.
Witcher read, you
yeah,
don't
that.
know what's up. Yeah, we're reading The Tower of Swallows today, the 5th or 6th or 4th Witcher book. I right at the beginning, I wanted to come up with a good fellatio joke for this, but I couldn't.
Because
just know,
it's
though, that
not
I'm-
good. It just William just constantly
it's hard
lives
to-
in a shack beneath a gutter.
Val
Under
for
a
a
rock.
while was playing a game called Blue Prince, and so I kept trying to come up in my head with a way to be like, "Hey, did you blue prince?" But the verbiage is kind of difficult. So, Val, what is Tower of Swallows? Where are we in the series? What's going on?
Sorry, I was caught up on the 0 for 2 on the fellatio jokes. Will, great
Pivot.
job.
Pivot.
Tower of Swallows, everyone, is a wonderful little book. It's I believe, like Will said, the sixth, fifth in the Witcher novel series. It's our second to last one, and we're not going to go over everything that's happened in the series so far. Watch the videos, read the books, have fun. Don't watch the TV show. That's bad.
Yeah.
But this book follows. There's little snippets with Ciri talking to a hermit in the swamp, and then there's snippets with Dandelion, Geralt, and the gang, and a few other little things in between. Once again, kind of strangely structured, but I love it to pieces, and I can't wait to talk about it.
It does go back and forth in time, which is actually very foreshadowy.
What Chris just said.
The Tower of Swallows, or what Cantarella does. Oh, there you go, Will. So you just
Hey,
come on.
No, I
Work
think
harder.
that's very
The
good, Chris.
material's there.
We applaud. We applaud.
Wait, golf claps.
Good job, Chris. You win.
William.
All right, sorry, Katie.
It's okay. But actually, that it does. It's one thing I noticed as I got through the book is just the jumping in time is pretty wild. I don't know that I've ever read another book that jumps through character perspective in time as much as this book in particular, even out of its own series, does. And my initial thought was, wow, it's really only this author so far. Like, there, of course he can handle it because like he's done it already a little bit so far, especially in the last couple books, but also like in the anthologies, of course, like they're good jumping from people to time and things like that. But in this one, it's pretty wild. Like there's a whole chapter, guys, where you literally get a few scenes from the future of a random character that you really haven't been given before, and then you go back into the present, and like it's wild. So, but that makes a lot of sense because at the end of this book, what's going to end up coming together is a theme of time and placement in time. So, really, that's super cool that it matches the structure also of the narration.
I'm not. This book was. I had a blast reading it. I thought it was so much fun. I wasn't sure because it's been so long since I've read these books, but like it was so much better than I remembered it being. Like it was. I don't know. Just the character works, the like little machinations. It was so surprising to me how much I enjoyed it on a reread.
Okay, guys, here's the thing.
He didn't like
It's
it.
not that I disliked this book, but this is my least favorite Witcher
That's
book so
crazy.
far.
You're weird.
I would
Yeah.
not say this is my favorite either, but that doesn't mean I like.
It's
If anything, actually, I like it better than the last one.
See, I liked the last one more than this one. I think it's a combination of things. It's not that it's badly written. There are parts of it that work very well. I was definitely compelled to keep reading it, especially in its first half. But I found that like about in the second half of this book, I'm like, we have spent 2 books just on a road trip with nothing happen. Like, can we get somewhere? Can we finish this? Like, how?
It's
I'd
about
originally
the
wondered how
journey,
they
not
got.
the destination.
had originally wondered when we started the Witcher books, like, how did he pull this off to 5 books? And I'm like, oh, they just kind of don't do a ton in each of the books. They just are kind of like, we're still traveling. And like that kind of worked last book, but like at this point, I'm like, let's hurry it up. I'm also kind of like, I don't love the direction he took Ciri. It's not that it's bad, but it's just like, why did we go this direction? Was it really worth it to turn her into like a dark
We have to see where
badass?
her journey destination is. It's because it could really mean a lot.
I kind of think I think this is about all we're gonna get from it. I don't think it's gonna get much more like insightful.
I'm willing to believe.
We'll see. But yeah, for this book, that's kind of what I felt like about halfway through. I was like, let's hurry it up. There's parts of this book that are like really funny. Like there's this whole interlude with the king and queen we probably won't describe because it doesn't matter to the plot, but it's very funny. And these two characters who show up for a minute. And like that's one of the things that does make it work is Sapkowski can jump from one character to another very effectively because he's very good at setting up characters quickly and making them kind of likable. There's like a minor villain character who like I actually quite liked, even though she's not in a ton of scenes.
Which one?
Those scenes are told Kellen.
Yeah.
Who?
Or the woman who was like kind of
the
helping the
psionic
people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like her I kind of liked, even though we were only in her viewpoint a few times. And I do think the book gets some mileage out of having a lot of the story told by people in the future telling it about the past. But like it just overall, I was kind of like, all right, can we finish? Can we get to the next part of this? Like we spent a lot of time getting to the tower. Let's get to the tower and let it swallow us. Maybe. Just no, I'm plotting.
Like we discussed in Baptism of Fire review last time, you guys had some criticisms about like how, we should have been getting to Ciri in the last one. And even though, because we just got a few chapters that were kind of distant. And I think that this one does her trauma really well by grounding us in the story, her telling it to Visigata, the hermit, because it gives us a little bit of distance between the horrors of it. And we know that even though she's not okay, she's at least alive. And she sounds a little bit more like the Ciri that we kind of knew when she's talking to this old guy, because there's sort of a sweetness between them. But yeah, I thought it worked.
I almost, what I would say is this, is that there are some like structural elements such as, so there's this like repeated thing about, while Ciri is basically catching you, the reader, and also Visigata up on like how she got from the rat gang to where she is now with him being rescued. There's this repetitive framework that happens where it's like, but nobody could have heard this thing. It's because nobody's
He's doing it. Like I thought he was gonna do it like 3 times. He does it like 8.
Yeah, no, he does it a lot of times. And I thought that was interesting, and I thought he would have changed it up also a little bit more for that. But I did like that framework of that story. But I almost wish that was the framework for the whole story. I don't know, because again, as I disclaimer, I didn't get to the last little bit of the book, so it's going to be a surprise for me.
Shame.
But the point is like, if that was all, what I was hoping for is I was hoping that phrase that we just discussed, the whole idea of like, but nobody was out there in this bog. It's because they were hidden in the middle of wilderness, and it's like Ciri and the old man. I was hoping that the reason why the repetition was happening was because Geralt or Yennefer was going to end up being outside of it. Or unless it was going to be like a negative thing and there's an enemy outside of it. But then I thought the way it went on, I thought surely, especially with what was going on also in other perspectives, I was like, surely it'll be like, but a Witcher saw, or something like that. And I was like, oh, I really like this. I hope this goes through, because this is like really sweet in a way that would make up for it would be a balm to my soul, that is all of the abuse that we've received via these characters, especially in this book in particular. But I'm assuming we didn't get that based off of your responses.
No, but what it kind of reminded me of, not in terms of like theme, but just in like the structure of the bits that you're talking about in what's the Kingkiller Chronicle, how he does the quiet thing at the beginning and end of every book. Like there are 3 kinds of quiet, and then different things in between those two. And he like starts and closes the books
Yeah.
with those. It was it was a little bit reminiscent of that, because there are like tiny shifts in like in between the, you know, nobody heard the blah blah blah. Sorry, Katie, if you don't get the reference.
Oh, no,
but
it's totally fine.
those books
But
aren't
Yeah,
fantastic, but
fair enough. But I
What?
did think
Those are
that.
such great books. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Kidding, go
I
ahead.
have no feedback on this. But what I did like though in this book for you guys, if this is actually helpful for you for this book at any rate before reading it, series chapters are very good. They're very engaging. They're very interesting. They're soul racking. So you'd have to prepare yourself for some like sadness, quite a bit of it. Geralt's chapters were strange. They made me feel like a little confused, especially in the structure of like what was happening and everything. I'm not sure what the aim was yet, and also because I didn't finish it, so that doesn't help. And then what we got from Yennefer I thought was appropriate and fine, and it was a good interlude and a different environmental area too, which was kind of like nice. It kind of felt like it reminded you of the whole world again and that there are multiple things going on. The only thing I disliked is that there is a very, 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 very long interlude of politics. And it comes out of nowhere because prior to that it was all very character focused, and then it started giving like a history lesson, and I was like,
are you talking
oh
about the
my
part with like Dijkstra and stuff?
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's also the part I mentioned before about going back and forth in time at one point, and I thought it was a very interesting story, and I mean, like, look, I get what the purpose is, I understand it, but man, did it gum up that process.
Listen, you guys are
pacing.
absolutely right, and you're talking about it, I'm like, yeah, okay. Some of the Geralt chapters kind of like smushed together in my brain a little bit, and like everything you're saying is right, but I just loved reading it so much.
That's good. No, but it was good.
I really liked like when we first got back to Dandelion. I was like,
Oh
we're
my
back with
gosh,
Dandelion.
yeah,
This
that's
is
one of my
good.
favorite parts. It's
I think
great.
actually, honestly, the Geralt parts are good, and that's why I think I preferred the previous book because even though that one, like, not a lot happened, we were with Geralt the whole time, whereas with this one, we're not, and like, there's a charmingness about the Fellowship of Geralt that I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think it you know what I would have preferred is if the content of the last book happened a little bit more parallel to what was happening in this book, because if the strength of that series of stories was going on with the side of the strength of like Ciri's story and what's going on here, I feel like he really could have condensed these two books together and made a really freaking powerful story together if he just cleaned up some fat on the edges. But if you like the world though, who cares, because then you just get more of it.
Yeah. Just reading this made me want to replay The Witcher 3 again. Something about it was just
It
like,
does. No,
oh,
it's the
this feels
same.
like home.
Yeah, like especially Spikeroo hearing like just like a lot of like
Yeah, all the crack on crate stuff was great.
Yeah.
I love him. What a mess.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of strengths to this book and a lot of parts that I enjoyed. For me, it's just the overall package. I was a bit like, all right, let's get it along, guys. But do you want to jump into beginning the plot?
Sure do. There's one chapter at the beginning that is at the Temple of Melitala, but I'm going to skip over it because it's not super important. Triss is there. Yara wants to join the war. It's just a little scene dressing. But essentially, this book... do you want to say something on it?
Oh, I was just gonna say what the book opens with is that there's like an event that happens, and it begins off with explaining the event. Is it an eclipse? Is it a solstice?
Oh, the solstice? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a solstice, and it goes into the history of the calendar and everything. But the big important thing is that the very like interesting is that a lot of people have had horrendous nightmares, and they all shared the same nightmare. And that's where Val is saying is that we get back to the temple that we've visited before, and we get some of their reactions to receiving that nightmare. And it is in regards to somebody they all had contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And,
or are important to them, I guess.
So the book essentially starts with a hermit who lives in a swamp. And he finds what he thinks is a little boy, like a bleeding out in his swamp. And he's like, no one comes out here. This is crazy. A huge gash on the side of what he soon discovers is her face. and he's like, oh my god, I need to clean up this girl, she's dying. So he takes her back to his cabin, and she's out for days. And like he just sort of, he used to be a doctor, like you get, he's very sort of he's like taking notes in his book, his journal rather. And he's like, this, and this. She's got like a tattoo on her crotch area, but you know, it doesn't look like she was assaulted. Like it's very clinical about, you know,
Yeah.
everything that he's going over. Eventually, Siri comes to, and she tries to leave, but she can't. She's too weak. Like she is messed up.
She needs
And-
help peeing into a bucket. So,
Yeah.
you know.
And he continues sort of caring for her. She's like a little mistrustful, and it comes out eventually that like this guy, he goes to like trade posts or something, so he gets some interaction with other people, and he realizes that, oh, people are looking for this girl. He comes back. He's like, I know something's going on. You're safe here. You're not a prisoner. You can leave if you want to, but you are safe here. No one's going to find you. It rains a lot. No one can track me back here. It's dangerous to walk. Like, no one's going to find you. And
It's
she's
a
like,
bog.
yes. And like I think knowing that she's not a prisoner, she kind of eventually like eases up to him, and they get to talking. She reveals her name, and first he tells us his story, which is he used to be a professor at Oxenford. He studied to be a doctor there, and then he wrote a paper. It was an atheist paper, you guys, and they were
Yeah,
like,
it was just- It was
we
a
don't
paper
do
on
that."
ethics and the like, and what is right and wrong, and everything he argues for basically is definitely ethically right. It seems like.
Yeah.
And then he gets kicked out of the. So that was over on like the Temeria, the one side
Like
of the,
near Novigrad, like Oxenford area, yeah.
And then so he gets kicked out of there, and he's like, oh, you better run away. And so he loses his wife because she's not going to run with him. And he goes over to Nilfgaard, and he's like, oh, school here, do the same song and dance. And so he argues yet again for ethics, but against their, you know, particular process of things in politics. And yet again, the same thing happens.
I gotta look up the exact wording as to why he was kicked out, because it was really funny. Yeah,
It was.
His paper was dubbed Metaphysical Mysticism, and he was exiled with the threat of death.
Yes. And so anyway, that wife also left him and his kid. And then he went off to become a hermit. Yes.
I think what's really effective is way we're kind of introduced to him is through these medical notes that he thinks he's writing to himself, but keeps forgetting to write down. Which is
He's also
really
one of those,
funny.
the books are just very funny that way, subtly, where he's like, I think she's not gonna make it. I'm not that great a doctor anymore, and like it kind of endears you very quickly to him as a person who means well, but is like a little past his prime, and he's a little old. And then once she wakes up, they have a lot of philosophical sniping at each other. And Ciri's being a little bit of a shit, which I find less charming than I did in the earlier books.
Well, she's a teenager now, of course.
Yeah, so it's less charming.
So it's
but I
less
do-
charming, yeah.
There's one like bit that I found really effective, was because Ciri has this huge gash on her
Oh,
cheek.
that's what I was going to mention.
Yeah, like he stitched it up as best he could.
Like she is disfigured. Like he
is-
specifically says she is disfigured. She will never be the same. And I'm just like, oh, wait, is that why in the gameplay
Yeah,
trailer,
she has-
in the game, not gameplay, excuse me, game trailer, she has like the giant scar on her face, and I'm just like, I wish it disfigured her more.
Yeah, me same.
But
Honestly,
anyway.
in the games, I wish that
Yeah.
too. But like, it's really sweet because she asks him for a mirror, and he says, "No, I don't have a mirror." A couple of times, and she's like, "I want, show me your mirror." And like, she just looks at herself and just cries quietly.
I you know what really killed me is she's like, it's exactly what I thought, and then she just started crying. And then he puts a partition, he puts a divider between him and her, like a screen or like a curtain or something. And like it's just there. He makes a lot of fatherly emotions when he interacts with her, and he through his internal monologue with himself that you get, it's very endearing. As Will said, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's kind. He's a very kind person, and that contrasts well with Ciri, who's just not been around kind people for a while. And so, you know, after he tells her his story, she's like, "All right, I got to tell you mine." And we pick back up with like her being in the bandit life
I hated that. Oh my god, I hate the
Missile,
first.
her girlfriend is being tattooed.
Yeah, between the legs and all, they're like all snuffing like
I
cocaine,
hate the
basically. Fish
rats.
tech.
So yeah, fist tech. Yeah, it's. I hate the rats so much. Siri gets a matching rose tattoo with
To
missiles.
remember her by.
Yeah, and our boy Hotspur, I believe his name is, rides
Yeah.
in, and he's like, hey rats, did you know like the Emperor is like offering amnesty for criminals who come forward? I'm gonna go do that. You guys should probably come too. There's an assassin we the reader haven't heard about yet. His name is Leo Bonhart, and he's in this town over here. He is dangerous. We get like this lore about him, like all the people he's killed could fill like a city or something. Like this guy is scary. And Hotspur's like I'm getting out of here. You guys can come too if you want. And they're like, no, we could take Bonhart. Don't be stupid.
Like
Like,
coked up idiots. They're
Well-
like, no, it's fine.
More specifically, the rats end up saying something that really irks Hotspur, and he then says, "Well, you know that assassin we spoke of, he's only 30 miles away in a town called Jealousy," which immediately you're like,
Yes.
"Oh, that nothing good's there." And he's like, "But." So, it's probably your backing and forthing, like you said, you escaped him, so good for you, but he's on your tail. And then he's just like, and I'm also uncomfortable being here with you guys, so I'm gonna split and go to the like local like town or whatever nearby, because you guys are like really weird. That's literally the vibe that
Yeah,
he gives
exactly.
off, which they are. They're super creepy.
It's interesting because the scene is really good because you get a real sense for this character as being quietly powerful while the rats are loudly proclaiming how awesome they are, and you get a real sense for them being just coked up idiots, like kind of high on their own supply, so to speak. And it's a very nice contrast, and it's mostly done through like dialogue. Again, it's one of the ways Sapkowski is like a really talented writer and can make certain characters really pop.
But even visually, like through the descriptions, it really reflects the same thing that Will just said. So they're in like in a wagon, a traveling wagon, I think is what I recall. I don't know if they brought him in from there or not, the tattoo artist. But the point is they had taken over an entry checkpoint, and they were keeping the checkpoint family hostage, which was really pathetic sounding, like just depressing sounding. And there's a tattoo artist that was coming through, and he was actually like part of like some other guild or something. Because when what's his name again?
Hotspur.
Yeah, Hotspur. I'm just wondering, it's because I didn't see it spelt out in front of me. So
Yeah,
it's really
I'm
hard
sure
for me
a
to
lot of the
remember.
names you're just like regurgitating from the
It's not that so much. It's like I'm wondering if I'm going to even say it correctly because I listened also at a fast speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, he comes in. He's like, yeah, no, he has a secret sign outside on his sign. He's no, you don't like. You got to pay him. You can't just rob him. He's part of the process. And so, but what's really creepy is the way they're described. They're all frilled up with like lots of jewelry that they've stolen. They have like nose rings or like a million earrings, and it's all gold or it's like whatever. And of course, like they're all like super high and like the equivalent of coke. And they're getting like tattoos in places, and they're just like undressed in front of. So they really seem like teenagers, like rebellious, like Rage Against the Machine like vibes. But there's a few scenes too here where they're talking, and there's a part. So the whole thing about them being fluffed up first is his quietness. And that really comes across also visually with the descriptions of the way they're dressed and everything. That comes up later too when Siri's taken, like stuff of hers is taken away. But one part that creeped me out a lot was when they're all talking about attacking Bonhart, and they're like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna make a name for ourselves, like this is later in private. And they're just talking with one another. Siri and Missile are asleep already, and they're like, he thinks that we're just like a whatever group. It's because he compared us to this other group. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go murder this dude, and this dude has a good reputation as far as like bounty hunter goes. So once we do that, we're gonna be socially famous, like so that is redundant, but socially rich is what I meant to say. And they're all laughing with each other, but it's like, what's there to laugh at? Like, it's not really funny, so it's like creepy. And then
Yeah.
also it's described that their eyes light up almost like rats' eyes, so they really do feel like a group of rats.
Yeah, it's well written, and like Will was saying, like they feel so much like teenagers that in the same way that I wouldn't want to walk into a room with a bunch of coked up teenagers, I don't really like reading their chapters because I'm just like, oh god, come on, guys, get it together. Like,
Apparently, Chris was saying nobody likes them. Everybody's happy that they died. And yeah,
the Netflix show was so stupid for even thinking of making a spin-off rat show. No one wants to watch that.
really?
Yeah,
Did they
That's
make
so
one?
dumb.
I think it was canceled. But like,
That's so funny. No, there's no reason to
That's
no.
I no, but no, there is a reason. It's called money, and I can see how they were like, oh, a medieval gang show. Yeah, let's go. I mean, look, they made the same thing for the spin-off or whatever from what's it called? The Crows, Six of Crows or whatever.
Oh, Shadow and Bone.
Yeah, like they made the whole show for them. It's so of course they're gonna make a show. They're like, "Ugh,
yeah, but at least
pre-written
those
material we don't
aren't
have to
real
pay a writer
teenagers
for?"
doing real crime. Like, this is gross. I don't want to be in the room for this.
yeah,
Well, and it's not actually ever portrayed as like a particularly like glamorous thing on the part of the book. It, like, again, they're just coked up idiots, and like that's really how they feel.
it's creepy.
Yeah, and so
but-
basically this whole time, like Bond, not
Hotspur?
guy,
Boneheart?
has been
Oh,
kind of
Hotspur,
like
yeah.
leering at Siri a bit.
Oh yes.
But he takes off, and then Siri decides to take off after.
It
him.
is
But before she
revealed.
goes,
He Hotspur mentions that, oh, this is all probably because the the king of Emperor of Nilfgaard is getting married to Cirilla soon, and she's like, excuse me, no, he isn't actually, and she is like, I'm gonna go reclaim my throne, I think. Like, she just
Yeah,
like
that's literally
It's like
actually
that.
exactly how it is. Even when she tells
she like sits down with Missile and she's like, I'm leaving. I'm gonna come back with so much money, girlfriend. You don't even know.
yeah. Wait for me.
Yeah, wait for me. Like, oh girl.
yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna work well. And then basically she goes after Hotspur. Hotspur has a horse she's really attracted to.
She fucking loves that man's horse, that black horse, and
Yeah,
he's like,
she
I don't
does.
name my creatures. This is just horse, and she's like, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Like,
And-
there's even a scene where she's like, they're trotting and she's getting aroused and she knows she's getting aroused. And she's looking and she's like, oh, but it's not to the man himself, it's to his horse. And then all of a sudden Hotspur starts making his like horse trot like across, and then she's like, oh, he knows that I'm attracted to his horse. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so
I
silly.
couldn't figure that
weird
out at
horse
all. Yeah, it was real weird.
But
I
like,
was
this
like-
guy has made it very obvious that he wants to get down and dirty with Ciri, or Volga as he knows her as, and she's like, man, I don't really want to, but also I'm a little curious because, you know, like, I've mostly been doing girl stuff, but also I really want that guy's horse so bad. But she kind of turns him down, and he's like, you're like an ice queen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and he's like creepy and gets handsy with her, like, but like, he's gross, but he's not like evil. He's just kind of like a gross, like a little.
Yeah, it's more
he's-
gross than evil.
He's a vaguely gross creature. And so as they're like, you know, going along their path, they end up getting beset upon by like common robbers. And so there are arrows going through like the air, and Ciri's afraid it's going to hit her as they're running away, but it does hit.
It hits a Hotspur, I think, in the
Yes.
back.
Yes.
And
And
like,
then they slide
hunker
down, the side. They lose their horses. And this is when a really cool feature is revealed, which is Hotspur's like, yeah, no, the horse that you're like obsessed with, I actually have a magical gold bracelet that when you like rub it, she comes Oh, she
Red Dead Redemption style.
Video
Yeah.
game mechanics, yeah.
yeah, she
Yeah.
she comes back to me, so like she'll come back. I don't know about your Rowan horse, but like hopefully that the horse will come too. And then anyway, he starts being like super, he's like, oh, I can feel it against my spine. I think I might be, like losing neurological like stuff. He's like, we got to get to the local place so that way I can get it looked at, so that way I live. And then he starts grabbing for her titties.
He's like, hey, it's rude to say no to a man who's bleeding out. Like, come on, let's do this. And she resists a little bit. Then she's like, why the fuck not? Kind of.
Yeah, she even goes through the part where she says to herself, looking away. And she's like, no, I'm not going to look away because I'm not just some like innocent maid. She's like, but I'm not going to look him straight in the eye. It's because like, I don't feel that provocative because I'm not in that kind of situation. And she's like, so I'll just close my eyes. And I'm like, oh Lord. And, anyway, he's slobbering all over her nipples when he dies.
He just stops moving,
Yeah.
and she's like, hey man, are you dead? And
yeah.
he doesn't respond. And she's like, and then it cuts back to her talking to Visicata. And she's like, is it weird that in this moment I didn't feel sad? I just felt disappointed. Like, and he was like, I don't think it's that weird. And she was like, okay.
He's like, honey.
Yeah.
Like the whole time he's just like, no, this sounds like trauma to a child. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird scene, and I'm not sure what the point of making it so sexual was. I think you could say that like maybe it's exploring a little bit of Ciri's trauma in that she just kind of goes along with it because by this point that's kind of how she deals with things. But like overall, I was a bit like, I'm not sure why this is here.
I got
Yeah.
it. I feel like it was I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to put it to words, but it feels like a very defining moment for her in her sexuality in particular, but also for her in this like liminal space of a moment. Like she's with somebody, like it's a very interesting situation. I'm glad it was included because I think that would define me as a human being in a very specific way, and I don't know how to put it to words to explain
There's
it on this
something weird
podcast, but-
about coming to your sexuality as like a young woman and trying to figure
Yeah.
out what you want and what you don't want. And it felt very real to me.
Yeah.
Some people accuse this book series about being kind of like masturbatory about how they treat Ciri, but none of it feels like that to me from the author's perspective at all. Like it doesn't feel horny. It just
No.
feels honest to what this would do to a person and like how
Yes.
she might react.
Yes.
So I didn't hate the scene. I don't think it needed to be this bad, but I'm fine with it like being here.
It fully, you know what, it really depends. So it's kind of like the same thing with Berserk, right? When I like was reading Berserk, I was like, why is this so dark and so hateful in so many ways? This is like, again, good term for this is pornography. Any type of pornography, it doesn't have to be sexual if you're not aware. Like it just has to be an overt amount of something in a way that comes across as like exaggerated, so it is pornography. So that's why like horror porn, for example, is like not like literal porn. It's just overt guts and gore and stuff like that.
Or watching pimple popping videos.
Yeah, the same exact thing. It is. It's the same exact thing.
Similar structure too. I'm just saying.
Anyway.
Build up, release.
But there's
Sorry, I
something
wrote
to
that
be
up.
said. Like in the Berserk story, I was always counting on a moment, and I'm not up to date ever since the artist and author died. But I was always expecting a great comeuppance, a great realization, self-realization, a great evolving of the character that makes all that suffering really feel like, yeah, you finally got what you needed. You finally got like its resolution. And so I am hoping in the book series, though I doubt it, that I will receive that from series. And if I don't, I've actively been thinking, especially when I'm going to bed and I can't get to sleep, I'm thinking through the video game, if they're going to explore her character, maybe if we don't get it through the book, we might actually finally be able to experience that brutal satisfaction of revenge, honestly, which is a big thing for Ciri. Revenge and glory that comes from being a better person, from learning that revenge story and like becoming like a balanced, like, somebody who's wise. And so if we get that from the video game, if we don't get it in the books, I'll be very pleased. But
I'm cautiously optimistic. Wow, I don't know. I had such a hard time saying that. about the video game. I'm really interested in how they explore Ciri's character.
Yeah, me too.
I'm curious to see. I mean, again, this is one of those things I think I said back during Baptism of Fire, which is like once you start going grim dark, you need to pay it off. And so
Yeah.
far, I'm like a little bit like, I don't know that this was quite worth it yet.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how it plays out in the last ones. Chris says, "Oof,
Oh.
Katie, I don't think you'll like the end. I had the same idea when I read the books because I didn't know this was supposed to be dark, and I thought it would be an epic fantasy." Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But basically, she. Okay, what happens? Oh, okay. So
Oh, and
then
before
what
he dies, he tells her, by the way, Leo Bonhart specifically wanted the rats to know that he's in Jealousy, this town that he's in. And he was trying to goad them to go there so that he can slaughter them, essentially. And Ciri's like, shit, I gotta go save my friends. So she steals his horse and zoops over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then at that point, I think this is, I don't know. There's a lot of viewpoints that certain events are told by that
no,
I forget.
He kills the rats before we do anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. So basically Bonaparte shows up at the town and he is like a really nice villain in that he's very mustache twirling, but like there's a real menace to his
Oh,
character.
he's a sociopath. Like
Yeah.
When the rats show up, he walks out like he's described as being this hulking but really skinny man. And like he's eating like a soft-boiled egg, and the yolk like dribbles.
And it's in his mustache.
He's got his sword like crooked in his arm.
Yeah, and he's in his undies basically.
I gotta say, the one thing that the Witcher show did really well is the casting for this motherfucker because he is.
Oh, who is he?
You'll Google him and you'll be like, this doesn't look like a crazy man, but whatever they did to him, he was great.
I know I just did that whole Bonaparte joke, but I actually don't remember what his name is. What's his
Bonhart.
name again?
Leo Bonhart.
Leo.
They just call him Bonhart.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and he's just described as and
Oh yeah.
Let me see. Share.
No, I have too many things on my screen that are
okay.
a problem. But yeah, no, he looks very weird.
But what really is creepy, and I think the audiobook narrator does a really great job with his voice.
Yeah.
It is this very patient, drawling, sleepy kind of threat that he makes to the rats.
He is sinister. He's a great villain.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he really is. He and again, I think some of that, like Katie said, is the audiobook really gives him this kind of like callousness.
Yeah.
But he's really has intimidating. He's really intimidating. He's one of the better villains we've actually like run into.
It's because he does have a central locus of motivation, and it's for entertainment because he's described as like having eyes like a fish. That's like, and like, so what I picture is this man has seen so much stimulation throughout his life that nothing ever shocks or entertains him, and so because of that, that's why as we progress into the plot, he chooses what he chooses to do with Ciri, which is to seek entertainment. And it's in a very removed emotional. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the character, I forget his name, the sociopath dude from the Troop.
Oh,
yeah, I listened to some of that. Yeah, a little.
What was his name?
it's similar. I don't remember his name.
When he burns up a spider's web with his lighter just to watch her remake it, and then like all those moments where he like tested something just to see what happened because he's like disconnected in some way, something's unplugged, and that's the way this guy comes across.
Yeah,
I think that's very true. But yeah, he just absolutely butchers the rats with ease.
God, yeah.
And
it's like
Ciri
horrid.
shows up, like while they're all like bleeding out on the ground, missiles like kind of fighting for it, and eventually like he starts fighting Ciri alone because Ciri's the last one standing, and she's obviously more skilled with a sword than the rest of them were, but he still handily like beats her.
He punches her in the face.
Yeah, and like she gets like tied, I think, up like in the middle of the square, and he makes her watch all of the rats' heads get chopped off one.
Not just
by
chopped.
one.
He asks for a saw, salt, and vinegar.
Oh,
And
God, yeah.
that's all you're given as the reader. You're not given the scene where he does any of this. But the menace of the description and how she realizes what he's going to do and what's going to happen. And then it cuts back to her actively narrating it. And she's like, he sawed their heads off. And the way it's said also, it's just like, but it's
a good scene. It really is. And it's ugly. And that's kind of the thing about the way he treats Siri in this book, is it's very ugly and possessive. It very much has abusive undertones in a way that a lot of villains don't. Like, he really seems to like having control over Siri almost more than anything else. And I think that's what makes it feel so gross, his treatment of her. And one of the reasons he like feels like such a villain, more than just like, ha. There's a truth to the way that he wants to control her.
And there's like a moment after this, sorry, if
No, it's
like
okay.
just like very briefly, where, because like this guy's evil. He like beats Siri. Like, she tries to talk back to him because she's like a snarky teen who's seen shit, but he just like beats it out of her, and she's just like, she stops trying to fight back. And then at a certain point, he's like, undressed, and she's like, great, now I'm gonna get assaulted by this guy. And he's like, don't get excited, little girl. I'm just checking for weapons. Like, nothing about you excites me. And it's just like, this guy, like, in a worse book, this guy would just be evil across, like, just nasty everywhere. But like, there's something about him that feels so like grounded. Like, this man is the way he is because, like Katie was saying before, like, he's just numb to everything. Like, this isn't interesting to me. Nothing about this is interesting to me. I've seen everything. Like,
yeah, it's really interesting. I really enjoyed his portrayal. I think Chris didn't. In her final thoughts, she had said that she preferred Skellen, who I also kind of liked as a villain. He's pretty pathetic later on. But for me, Bonhart especially worked in this first half. I kept being like, when is he and Geralt going to meet up and fight? And I was like, okay, that's probably not going to happen as the book goes on, but okay.
It's very serial killer-y vibes, which is a little different as far as a character profile goes in this series. We don't get I don't feel like we've gotten many characters like this. And one of the things that he does while he's like cutting all these heads off and everything is he makes the villagers, who are just like rando people, hold open her eyes so that way she has to be forced to watch it. And then afterwards, as both my co-host said, she's treated really poorly afterwards. She's forced to like have her, like, I think her wrists,
she's like on a leash.
She's on a leash, but it's like this next to the chain, I think, and so that way she can't move, and she really is treated like just an item. And but what's weird, and I'm just gonna like fast forward just a tiny bit, what's weird is that he's, like I said before, he's seeking entertainment. So there's going to be a few scenes that we mentioned coming up where he actually, in a weird way, gives a gift to Ciri, but it's not really a gift. And so it's just a huge mind.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things that makes it. He's not like he's not nuanced in the sense of his morality, but he is kind of a nuanced character in terms of how he's portrayed, I found. And again, there's that ring of abusive truth to him that I think really helps.
Yeah, like his cruelty and his villainy is very grounded in like what makes sense for who he is as a person, what we know of him. Like, he's been a bounty hunter for so long, he's seen everything. Do you guys know, we could skip to the Dandelion chapter at this point, probably?
I think it basically does actually at this point go there.
Yeah, I think at this point, we skip to Dandelion, who's just writing down what happened at the end of the last book. But like, it was so funny because you're going from this dark thing to Dandelion, and you're like, oh, Dandelion's back. I like him.
There are these little epistolaries between chapters. So like the epistolary between these two is like Daniel's, I've decided to write down 50 years of poetry, and I'm going to start now because and then it just goes directly into the chapter where we're reading his like journal entries as he's starting right now his 50 years of poetry. He summarizes what happened at like the tower, and then he just starts like kind of gossiping about his buddies, his company. He's like,
real quick question: is it Am I wrong? In the previous books, weren't there quotes from him from 50, a
Yeah,
half
yeah,
century
yeah, a
of
half
poetry?
century, which it changes to eventually.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
there's
there were.
like epigraphs or whatever for that in the previous. So this is like the mention of the book that he
This is where it
inevitably
started,
writes.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
it's really funny because he's like, yeah, and Geralt got a really big head once he got knighted, and he
It
wouldn't pay
was so
attention to me. And you're like, oh, Dandelion, we know you're an unreliable narrator.
but it's still kind of funny because I fully believe that Dandelion believes that, and Geralt might have. I believe that Geralt might have been a little saucy about it. He can be.
No, I think Geralt was his normal self, and Dandelion
Was
kind
just a
of
little
was like,
jealous.
I want to be the one who's
I
like
want to be
important.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because especially like he's like, oh, and I told Geralt, don't do this. It's going to be a problem. And later on, it was, and it's really charming.
It's
It was
so
fun to get
charming.
back to, and there's
There's
also
a.
still in.
Oh, I was just gonna
Uh,
say there's a funny moment because like he's writing about Regis, and he's like, we were all nervous about him being a vampire at first, but it turns out the most annoying thing about him has nothing to do with his vampirism. It's because he's such a goddamn intellectual. He keeps correcting people all the time.
Yeah.
It's just-
You're like, oh, I wonder who that is that he's correcting. Yeah, it's a really funny bit that goes through Geralt's chapters of Dandelion writing this again, what he calls like 50 years of poetry, and they're like a half dozen would sound better.
Oh
a half
no, yeah, because
century.
Regis specifically is like actually half century sounds much better. Rolls off the tongue, right? And Dandelion's like, yeah, it sure does. Like,
I actually like that as a bit because it's like it's a very like you would expect Dandelion to get huffy about it, but he's like, that's a good idea. Like there's one part where he's writing down, and then Kerlalok or whatever the
Kair?
the Nilfgaardian guy, Kair, is called. It's like he was really weird, and then the epigraph cuts off, and he goes, "Why are you looking over my shoulder?"
Yeah.
Kair. And there's just like it's really funny in that way, and it's charming. And again, I think it's why I preferred the last book to this book.
Yeah.
Because you don't get quite as much of it. And one thing I will say about this book is Milva is barely in it, and I quite enjoyed that because Milva sucks as a character. All right, go ahead.
She's neither here nor there. I don't care. She's fine. But from there, that is one thing I have to really highlight in this book, and I feel like we could really do a study on it, but it would take a hot minute. Is just the shifting perspectives, the shifting time, and the shifting locations and their relevance to the overall plot is wild. It's because, like, again, we just got like a back for flashback, like back to present with Ciri. Now we're going into a written memoir, but now, like, of course, we're jumping out of it whenever Dandelion approaches or like talks to somebody to bring you back into the present. So it's really funny. But please continue with the plot summarization.
and I have to say, so they had to run away from like Mev and their company because like Mev was like, you guys can't leave. Yeah, you're coming with us, and they're like, we're going the opposite direction. So they escape. They steal some horses and a mule, who Regis names the mule Dracul, and it's very funny because in the prose, it's like our Dandelion, I think, is like he seemed to think this name was really funny, and when we asked him about it, he says it's an untranslatable pun,
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
which
'cause
I
it's,
think
you know, it's-
I think Chris said the name means like the devil or something.
Dracula is yeah, like that's like where the Dracula comes from.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like that word or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like it's an inside joke that you and him and the reader get. And so they go on their journey. I should have let Val continue because I actually don't quite remember what happens next. I remember the next big thing is that they run into like a Nilfgaardian outpost. And
my God,
there they
that's-
meet.
Wait. Go ahead.
Don't they? Or it's not an Nilfgaardian. It's like some local magistrate guy. Does that ring a bell, or am I just?
Yeah,
making
no,
stuff
it
up?
does. I just don't recall exactly. The next thing I really like
Oh,
bookmarked in my
the
mind was the beekeepers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beekeepers.
Okay, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so remember that they're trying to go see the druids so that the druids can do a spell to figure out where Ciri is or visions or whatever. So they come across this village on the way to the druids, and the village is like, the druids
Oh my
aren't
God.
here. They went that
bear,
way.
The bear and everything, guys. Am I wrong? Is it not based off Bjorn from Lord of the Rings? Like the
Maybe.
whole scene in The
could
Hobbit
be.
where the Hobbit and his like whole group, which is like the same vibe, goes in and talks to the family and everything. It's like the honey dripping everywhere, and like he was so hairy he could have been like a change or whatever. And I was like, this is an obvious nod to Lord of the Rings with Bjorn, and like it's
Bjorn.
like yeah. But anyway, I thought so anyway. But please continue.
Yeah, and so the beekeepers, and then when they're gonna go leave the next day to where the druids are, the beekeepers are like, "Hey, escort us and our entire village over there." I thought it was funny too that the beekeepers are friends with the druids because like it's a similar
Of
kind
course.
of thing.
But yeah,
Um,
no, it's actually
and-
hinted specifically because the main dude of the household, and his wives are like of dryad blood because of the way they look and everything they assume, and so it all makes sense with that and the druids and everything.
Yeah, what Chris said over here. The first time Regis saw this hairy man, he was like, "Oh my god, it's a werewolf!"
Oh yeah, yeah, it does come up. That is really cute, actually. But they were like, "Oh yeah, we heard that the dryads got, or not the dryads, the druids kind of like maybe aren't at the place that you think they are." And then the next day, when everybody shows up, like Will said, Geralt's like, "Okay, come on." What
Geralt's
are
like,
you
"Oh,
doing? What are
come
you
on,
doing?
guys."
Why?
And- but, like-
Because yeah, because he's like the same guy. He's like, actually, so we've heard talk, and they're in this direction. It's the direction we're going in. So maybe you could like just support us during your journey because we're going in the same direction. And of course, Geralt's like, all right, this is
No.
too. He's like, no, you're making this up. You're just doing it so you can get us to help you do your thing. But Regis, in the end, is just like,
It's better to move than just sit around. Like it's not really out of the way. Like let's just do it. Geralt's
Yes.
like fine because Geralt really respects Regis. You get that sense throughout this book. Like
Grumpy, yeah, more so than like Dandelion, which I think is rude because Dandelion has shown himself to be a fine companion. But whatever. Yeah, and so like yeah, they're the two adults basically, and yeah, what else happens?
so anyway, we get a couple cuts
Right.
in between. But at this point, the way it's described, am I wrong? It was kind of hard to track with just all the names of the places and everything. But do they not move through the same bog that Ciri's in?
if they do,
I
it's on
don't
the
know.
outskirts. But
Yeah,
I don't,
it's not like through the main bog
I
or
think
anything.
I'm pretty sure they they go through like the same forest, or no, that was
Yeah.
before. But they arrive in this they're
Oh,
they're
Chris is
arriving in
like,
the town
no,
where
no.
they meet Angoulême.
Yeah.
Is it Angoulême or Angoulême?
I have no idea, and I'm going to go back and forth between the two, and you guys can't stop me.
Nice. Same.
Yeah, so they get through, and then once they get there, the beekeeper guy runs off, but then comes back really happy because he's like, actually, no, it sounds like there are druids around here. I didn't make all that shit up.
And he's like a person relieved that their lie turned out to not actually be a lie.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is.
And then from there, this is when around the time that, because during this time they're lingering in a town. So unfortunately, Geralt is recognized at a bar, and ooh, Chris is gonna check
He's
them out. But anyway,
he's talking to our boy Folko. Who's
whatever,
basically
the
like a
person where
cop.
they got the information from.
And Geralt has a
about
really
the-
funny, like, fuck the police speech that he kind of gives during this whole exchange, where the guy's like, we need law and order and, like, to control the people. And Geralt's like, just obviously, like, sort of police brutality.
But you're all
coded,
going to be
like-
corrupted, and you're going to go for your
ACAB.
own aims.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
there's, like, sort of, like, a tense back and forth, and, Geralt's like, actually, that sounds great for me as a Witcher. And he's like, this guy is like, that the face you're making doesn't seem to think that we're on the same page. And Geralt's like, no, when people, I'm a Witcher, when people like you, make things awful for everyone around you, I get more work. Like, it's,
Yeah.
I think what it is that in that moment, aren't they having this is the magistrate guy he gets taken to,
Yes,
right?
correct.
This is the ones you guys are talking about?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the guy there, this book often kind of goes off into philosophical topics for a minute or two, and so they're talking about like the idea of justice, and like you can clearly see that this is written by somebody who lived in the former Soviet bloc, because Geralt's like, yeah, no, that's not going to work great, guys. There's also a capitalist country later, which is pretty funny. And basically this guy though has a problem, which is that there's this bandit guy called the Nightingale who he really hates but needs to die soon because otherwise he might get off the hook. And so he's like, this guy, though, is going to ambush you guys. So why don't you kill him for me? Because I told you that he was going to do this.
And this is the point where he brings Angoulême in the room, right?
Yes, correct.
Because she's like an informant. She was a criminal in his gang, I believe.
Correct.
And is working as an informant for him right now. And the minute she walks in the room, Geralt is like, oh my god, that's Ciri. And like he has a moment. And he's like a second later, like, and she has a Cintran accent too, which doesn't help. But like she's got hazel eyes. He's like, it's very obviously not Ciri. Like a few seconds later, but he's still like, you can tell he's got that little feeling like in his heart, just like, and like when he's talking to this guy and agreeing to do it, he's like, I'll do it, and Angoulême is coming with me. Like,
yeah. I actually, for a moment, I genuinely thought, because there's a lot of time jumping, and the way it had just jumped right before that, I thought it like somehow Ciri had come into contact with him before getting to this like moss shack, and I was like, oh wow, how? Wait, she hasn't mentioned. And then like it got to that point, and I was like, oh, okay. And you know what? I noted, I'm like, oh, that fucking audiobook narrator, he's such a little fucking scamp.
he is like doing the little
uses the Cintran accent. Yeah, so you can't tell. And you're like, oh, it is Ciri, oh my god. And then, of course, 5 seconds later. But you wouldn't necessarily know that by reading it. And so, like, I thought that was a fun little layer to the audiobook.
Yeah, the audiobook narrator is incredible. And I love Angoulême. Like, like, I adore her. Like, she's just such, like, a little street rat of a Gremlin character. Like, she calls everyone Nuncle, and she calls Milva Auntie. Like,
yeah. She's like a different kind of.
She's a foil.
Impish and like, yeah, she's like Ciri, ironically enough, but like a different flavor of like sassy kid. And basically, Geralt is like, all right, I'll do this thing, but you have to free her and let her come with me. And then afterwards, she's so happy to be like free, and she's like, oh, thanks, Nuncle. Yeah, I'm with you now. Like, yeah, we're part of the same Hansa, which is like a gang, and we're gonna go do cool things. Like, she's just very grateful about it in a way that I thought was really endearing.
She's so sweet, and it's adorable.
It helps that the accent is super cute, honestly.
Yeah. And so Geralt goes back to the gang with Angoulême, and he's like, all right, here's what's going to happen. We're going to split up in these groups. And Angoulême is like, actually, the groups that you made don't make sense. I should be here. Like, she switches it around, and Geralt's like, no, for one reason, and I don't want to talk about it. And everyone's like, what the fuck, man? What are you talking about? And he's like, I don't trust Cahir. And Cahir's like, what the fuck, man? I've been here. Why are you still so mad at me? And like, you just get the sense Geralt is just still so angry at this guy for causing like Ciri all these nightmares. And like Cahir does not know what to do, so he just goes up to Geralt and just punches him right in the face, and they have a fist fight.
They have a fist fight, and I want you guys to picture, like, they're basically in a camping area where other people who are camping, so there are families and like merchants and stuff that are camped beside their campsite, and so there are these two full-grown men just like in, all, just to picture the Witcher and this like Nilfgaardian dude.
And it's so funny because, as Chris M says, this is the moment that made me like Milva so much.
Yes.
She literally
she's like,
they're in this manly fight, and she takes a belt and starts hitting them both, and they won't hit her, so they just kind of have to back off.
And she's not
it was
holding
really
back.
funny.
He's like beating.
She beats the crap out of them, and she ends up actually hitting the girl for a second, but then like right after she hugs her, and she's like, because the girl
she's been kind of like snippy with Angoulême, but after that she's like, she's like very almost
my
motherly
child
with Angoulême. It's real sweet.
Yeah, it's really cute. And basically, because if you guys don't remember, Cahir is the Nilfgaardian who captured Ciri and then saved her, and then they caught him, and like, they're still not really sure why he's doing what he's doing, which will reveal more. But basically, Geralt is like, grumpy. And then later he apologizes and is like, look, I took it out on him because the thing is, I know who must have found me, and it's somebody I would have trusted. And the implication is that actually it's Yennefer had scribed where he was and had given up the information.
So, what I didn't mention before was that there were all these rumors around town. Like, here's like, why does everyone know about us? But there was one fewer. They were saying there were 4 people in this company instead of 5. And Geralt's like, well, then the only explanation is that someone in my group there's a traitor in my group, and it must be Kahir because Kahir sucks inherently. And after that, he's like, okay, yeah, I kind of knew it wasn't him all along. And he and Regis is looking at Geralt because he already knows. Regis has put the pieces together, and Geralt realizes like the only person, who, like Will said, who could do this, like they wouldn't see Regis if they were scrying because Regis is a higher vampire. So he's thinking, Yennefer probably betrayed me, and he just didn't want to have to deal with that. Not the case, but some mage was probably...
Well, kind of, if I understand the timeline correctly.
I'm pretty sure it was Triss. Am I not mistaken?
I thought it was Yennefer when she scryed at the end of the book.
Oh, maybe.
Torture. Maybe. And the time shenanigans are just that we... Remember, because Kellen says, like, oh, she gave up The Witcher, but she didn't give up Ciri?
Maybe, yeah. I don't remember. I wish I...
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of weird time things going on. Mm-hmm. But I liked it, too, as, like, this is just a nice moment of Geralt being kind of messy and not, like... And also he has to eat shit a little bit, which is one of the ways that he always stays not being, like, the broody anti-hero. Is that, again,
he learns from his mistakes.
Well, this keeps him more blue-collar, grumpy guy than, Shadow Daddy.
Which is what we said last time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here. Well, it's important. It's one of the things I really enjoy about the books is that he is just kind of grumpy and not Shadow Daddy as much as I understand.
And Chris has confirmed that Will was correct about the...
That's right. Maria's not here, so I can actually be right for once. Okay, so then... Okay, so they go to a mine that Anglin has a source at, and basically they get ambushed by the Nightingale anyway. And what it ends up is that the magistrate they were just talking to was actually in cahoots with the Nightingale. And they're about to all die, but some rebels come in and save them. Am I forgetting anything? Because this takes a lot longer in the book than I'm describing.
No, I'm scanning through it now, and the issue
while you guys are
there's
checking,
like 3 things that happen, and I get them like mixed up in the order they happen.
Let me just go let my mother-in-law in the house real quick. Sorry, I'll be right back. The dogs are barking. I don't want them to interrupt.
I have a mother-in-law. I'm married. Oh, isn't marriage bliss? Oh. That was not one of my better act outs. I might cut that out. Okay. Yeah, so basically, I think that's what happened. The thing is, a lot of times in this book, there are things in between that are interesting. So, like, again, the discussion between the magistrate and Geralt is a fun one. It is a little bit about, like, justice and what is justice and what isn't and what the Nilfgaardians are doing, because there's this whole thing about the Nilfgaardians will, if you rat on your friend, you'll save you, and, like, that's brought up a couple times as, like, morally, is that okay or not? And so, like, there's a lot of interstitial tissue that just, like, actually isn't really key to the plot. And I think that's one of the reasons the book move a little bit slower than they otherwise wouldn't.
And
okay. So Chris M says he wasn't in cahoots with Nightingale, but he was pissed that another guy was in cahoots with him and making money from their dealings. Chris M coming in clutch as Maria.
Truly.
Say some Greek stuff.
And throughout all of this, I think at this point, Geralt is pretty sure that Ciri is dead. And I think Ciri is pretty sure Geralt is dead. They've been having dreams, like snippets of dreams about each other. There's so much stuff in here that is...
Kahir and Geralt had been having dreams of Ciri since the last book. And now they're having, like, less of them. So they're kind of worried about that. I don't think he for sure thinks Ciri is dead, but I do think he's a bit like, she's probably dead. And him and Kahir have a conversation where it's like, why do you want Ciri? What do you like about her? And Kahir's like, I'm actually in love with her.
Well, first what happens is that, like, they sit down bro style and talk it out. Like, Kahir explains exactly, like, what happened and how, like, when Ciri was, like, 12, I think, they were the last 2 there, and he, like, washed her off, and he knew she was traumatized, but he was like, I'm sorry, like, you're wounded, like, I'm washing you, and he's, like, blushing a little bit, and Geralt is like, what's going on, man? He's like, well, I've been having these dreams about Ciri as an adult. Like, Ciri is an adult. Like, the time shit in these dreams are weird. And I know it's her, though. I know it's her, and I think I'm in love with you. And Geralt weirdly just doesn't acknowledge that at all. He's just like, and then they go to bed.
He's like, cool story, bro.
No, I forget what he says. Oh, well, there's a really interesting. Oh no, I remember. So like this is a really interesting conversation. This is the only reason I happen to mention it. But what happens is that of course Geralt is talking about his loyalties and stuff and everything and why he's doing what he's doing, like they said. And so Kair ends up saying, you know, if I find her, and then he says, and she marries, you know, the Nilfgaard king, I can at least see her sometimes. And then Geralt like interrupts him and it was like, you know, threatens him basically a little bit. So he does address it a little bit, but it doesn't really threaten him. He just says something like real sour or something like that
He's
about
basically
that
like,
idea.
yeah, that we're gonna have to figure
So-
that out when we get there with
Yes,
swords.
that is-
Basically, is the vibe.
Yes, that is, it's the whole idea is that it's like, okay, so you're going to help me until you get in my way because you want the same thing I want, but there's no way I'm going to allow you to go bring her to the king to get married to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the way he addresses it, I guess. Heavy air quotes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm playing with my dogs in the background because they're being very, very, very anxious.
Aww.
And we
things.
should also say that there have been rumors spreading about the company, the Hansa now, and everyone seems to think that they're going to like Toussaint for some reason. And Carol's like, why do they think we're going to Toussaint? And like Dandelion's like, we absolutely can't go to Toussaint, you guys. We can't go there. And Carol's like, why? And he's like, we can't go there.
Just reasons, guys.
There's
And
reasons we're
Geralt's
not
like,
going to talk about it.
Geralt's
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of mad husbands at him, so
Yeah.
he must not want to go there because of that. And then Geralt kind of goes off on his own and talks to one of the druids. And this is actually kind of interesting because there's a couple things going on. One, Geralt is kind of having to renounce his Witcher identity because
Yeah.
the druids are like, we don't like you. You kill animal type things. And he's like, look, at this point, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm so far from this job that I used to have. I'm playing with all these affairs, which, you know, if you remember early on in the series, it was more like Geralt was more like impassive about these kind of things. I actually thought this was a little bit of a misstep because the druids
I didn't
act
like this scene.
the druids act like, I was gonna say Trump, like Geralt indiscriminately kills people, and he doesn't. He's actually quite careful about what animals he will and won't kill, and which, you know, like, is this actually causing harm or should I leave it, kind of a
I think
thing.
they're presuming a lot about him as a Witcher.
Yeah, I just would have liked to, I don't know, have that idea
have a-
explored
yeah.
more.
Like
But
maybe if he had
basically-
had a reputation for being like kindly and maybe being a faulty Witcher because he didn't kill every single thing he did have interactions with. I don't know.
Oh, is this
so
Avalok
Chris
that we're
M
talking
says,
about right now?
Yeah,
Well,
he's
so
not
no,
a druid,
I
he's a
thought he
half elf.
met-
Or not
okay.
half elf, an elf.
So I thought what happened is he met the druids who then sent him to.
No. He was told that the only way he would gain access is if he went to Avalok in this cave thing. And then there are these things called knockers that sound like orangutans, but like drunk on vodka.
The satire versions.
Yeah.
Oh, that part's actually really funny because Geralt's asked to go in this place without his sword, and there's like all these little creatures that attack him. He kicks one eventually, and this knocker comes out, and the knocker can speak. So Geralt's like kind of talking, and the knocker's like, "Hey, look over there." Geralt looks, and the guy just sucker punches him in the face.
It's so funny too because the knocker's like, "You hit something smaller than you," and it's like it's such a funny like basic principle of morality for
reminds
him
me-
not to follow.
Yeah,
It reminds me of the monkeys in the gorillas or whatever in Princess Mononoke a little bit, except for like a little bit more like trickstery. Again, I don't know why.
Which season was that of Sesame Street?
Stop.
Oh my god.
He
With the
does that
monkeys you
every
said
time.
of-
It's fine.
Right.
But the point is Geralt goes in there and there's a baby on his shoe and the baby defecates and then he like just kind of like flings him to the side a little bit. He doesn't really hurt him. He just and the baby was being like super creepy and stuff and they were like saying stuff. And so when that happened, that's when it is mentioned you hurt something smaller than you. You don't have good character. He's going to be like ganged upon by the knockers. But then Avalok or whatever his name is comes out and he's like, "Oh, come along." And so they go and they speak. And during this discussion, basically the important part that I took away from this was that Avalok was just like, no matter what you try to do, you've already gone past the expiration date for influencing Ciri's destiny. Past this point, you will only either get in the way or experience what she experienced, is the vibe I got.
He's
And
like big brained prophecy. Like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
all
yeah.
beyond
It's-
you, man.
It's actually a really cool scene with the ambiance. This guy's painting a cave painting as
Oh,
a like
yeah.
a
He's
as
like,
a
did you
fake.
guys know there used to be like purple bison in this area? Like,
yeah, no,
And
he's
it-
screwing with humans because he knows that sooner or later they're going to come through,
Yeah,
find this
exactly.
archaeologically,
he's
and be
just
like,
kind
oh,
of like, yeah.
Yeah, we get more of the lore of the Witcher world, which is basically it sounds like humans were from another world at one point and
Yes.
came to this one, and then they started to wipe out the elves. But the elves were so bored at the time that they weren't having sex with each other. So when the
Yes.
humans showed up, the elven
Like,
women
ooh,
were
that's
like,
new.
yeah.
"That's
Look at these
new," and they
weird
started.
horny humans. They only have like a 60-ish years to have
This is
sex.
exactly what actually happens. He
Yeah.
says the she elves or whatever, the lady elves, whatever, they he specifically says, whereas they used to ovulate every like 10 to 15 or 20 or whatever it is years, that he says, he's like, suddenly when human males were about, they were ovulating all the time. And so they started having more babies, and then this goes into Ciri's bloodline and how she's like kind of like the chosen one kind of thing. And
She's
so
the Kwisatz Haderach.
yes, exactly. And so he's just like, you can't change her destiny. Why are you going to go look for her anyway? You're just going to get in the way. And that's like and then of course Geralt's like, it doesn't matter. Destiny is not set. I might be able to save her a pain or two, or at least be there with her during her pains. I just need to be there with her. And that's like kind of like, anyway, he's like, okay, well, follow me. And they go past the wall that he's painting, because the reason he's painting it is because he knows that human archaeologists are going to be like, let's preserve this. And so they won't go past that wall. But then Geralt very snidely says, well, you know how humans are. They just blow up everything they see. So they'll just blow up that wall and they're going to come right back here. But anyway,
I also love that the elf couldn't help but put his signature on it in a hidden
Yeah.
spot. it's so like he can't even do that properly. He's too much of an elf. He wants credit.
yes. And so they go into this hall full of like marble statues and statuettes of things, and they go more into the bloodlines because they discuss like Ciri's great ancestress, who like her human lover isn't even portrayed there. It's because they will not allow that, like no human portrayal like that. But she's in the midst of a caress on an invisible lover, and that invisible lover is her human, and they talk about the bloodline stuff. And then I don't remember how that ends, other than the fact that they know that there's an attack happening on the druid place, and
Geralt
so
realizes his friends are in danger and he has to get there immediately.
Dagobah style.
yeah,
And
it's-
Avalok is like, you're not going to get there on time on horseback, buddy. So Geralt has to ride the knocker through the forest.
and it's great. I love that at the this would be such a great video game mechanic. But
Yeah.
so he rides on its back, and they get there, and then the knocker like knocks him off, and no pun intended. And he says to him, "Wow, I've always wondered if somebody could make it on my back, but I did not expect you to be able to make it. You made it. That's great. Congratulations." And then they were like, peace. And the whole
Peace
time
out.
he smells of vodka, which is crazy that they say vodka more than anything. Cause I'm like, vodka Russian liquor? Like there's not a name for this, like fish tech or whatever the heck, instead of cocaine. So I'm like, it's wild that it's a vodka.
The book sometimes I'm not sure if it's actually vodka or something similar to it, because like it's kind of like how the book uses the word commandos for the elves.
Yeah.
And it's like that is such a modern word, but one assumes
Yeah.
it's translating a Polish word. And the book in
Apparently
general,
it's not. I think someone in our comments said, no, it's just commando in Polish.
yeah,
also.
the book itself is often not trying necessarily to sound. So sometimes he'll use period appropriate terms like barber surgeon, but then other times he'll talk about like DNA. So it's a little eclectic
Yeah, it is
in that
wild.
way. But it also kind of makes sense because as Chris M says,
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
humans came at the conjunction of theories. I think the original ones were gnomes, then dwarves, then elves, then humans. It's about their view on prophecy and destiny. It does tie into the end of the book. But basically, because the humans came from somewhere else, my impression was that they were like more evolved over there. I think he says something about that.
Like
Oh.
there
So-
is like jumping between space and time that happens, so all of like a lot of this stuff it can easily be explained by that.
Yes.
Like
By like, yeah, they know about genomes because of this and stuff. So I thought that was really kind of interesting. But yeah, he shows up and they get into a fight with the bandits, and this is where we meet the discount Arthurian knights, which were a lot of fun. They're basically just like, my word, blah, blah, blah,
Oh
blah.
my word.
And he's like this big Arthurian knight who makes sure to like curb stomp and kill everyone who's on the ground who's wounded. 'Cause he's like, oh, just a few times back, I had one of those guys come up and hit me, so now I make sure they're all dead.
Yeah.
And
what's
it's very
the
funny.
Double tap them.
Double tap, yeah, that's the term.
they're very charming. It's a fun scene, and I think
Chris
there's
M
like
says, no, they weren't really. They came over and learnt magic from the elves, and the elves are the ones who know about DNA. I may be misremembering something from The Witcher 3 where Geralt and Ciri have a conversation where she's like, and I went to a city with giant towers, and it's supposed to be a modern city. And he's like, okay, stop being dumb.
that might be
So
in the books, too. I may be mistaken. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I may be incorrect about that, but go ahead.
Oh, was I going to say something? Oh, geez. It's already.
Jeez.
Well, what happens after this mostly is that we get to the point where so there is this thing that was happening before where they kept getting rumors about the druids burning people in wicker, like Wicker Man style.
The Wicker Woman.
Yeah, in wicker baskets next to their effigies and stuff like that. And Geralt and Regis both know this is all just like poppycock, that they're all I can't believe I said that, but anyway, that they I've been watching YouTube shorts of like period dramas, but anyway,
They're both like, that's stupid superstition.
yeah, and it is. But the druids come around and they have all the people, including Nightingale and some other people in the Wicker area, like in their little and then the druidess says, you know, this was supposed to be a manger for something. I don't remember what she said. Like sheep or lambs or something like that. But then she was like, but, you know, I've heard all these wicked rumors about us. And I thought, you know, if people are going to come and attack us, we may as well live up to our word. And so she burns them alive in the wicker thing. And Geralt doesn't get to question or better understand why Nightingale or anybody else had anything to do with anything in his mission.
Yeah, and his Witcher medallion also burns.
Melts away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we know doesn't last because it's there in the games. But yeah, and I think that's almost where his storyline ends, isn't it?
I think after this, do we
yes.
switch to Dijkstra's
No.
little...
We already switched to Dijkstra technically prior to this moment, I think, if I remember correctly. And then after this, we get Yennefer. I think
we've gone back and forth, actually. I think even we've had some Siri chapters between now and then, but
Yes,
it just
we
kind of
have.
makes sense to talk about them all as like one in one go kind of a thing.
So,
should we do Yennefer?
why don't we do Yennefer and then catch back up on Ciri and end on Ciri and what happens with them after that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, Yennefer, if you guys remember, had portaled away after the Tower of the Lodge of Witches was like, we need to control Ciri, Bene Gesserit style.
Yes.
And she ended up in the ocean, and then she ended up in this like place that's basically discount Viking land. And it's very funny because she's interacting a lot with this one character who used to be a lover of hers, who keeps like... Yeah, who keeps kind of falling back under her spell and being like, "Oh, well,
Oh,
maybe
that
we
He's
could-"
like,
She's
hey,
"No."
you know, could we? She's like, let bygones be bygones. Crap. And
But
he's
it
like,
keeps
okay,
happening.
okay.
It keeps like sneaking up. It's one of the ways the book is very funny, and
It's whenever
it gets
they're
funnier
walking.
each time.
It's like during a slight lull when they're walking from one place to the next, from in between very important conversations. She's like, "Oh man, you and that
Your perfume.
that perfume's still the
Oh,
same."
Yennefer.
Literally. Oh, Yennefer. Oh, Yen. Don't you think that
Yenna,
maybe
yeah.
we can? No, let bygones be bygones.
So funny.
Yeah, it's really good.
No, it's particularly funny, guys, because we start Yennefer's stuff off with her helping a pregnant woman on a dock, waiting for them to come back from their like warships and everything. Like, just think Vikings, and she helps like the pregnant woman, and some other women see her, and they're like, "Oh wow, you're such a great person, great, because you even like ruined your really nice dress." And what's his name again?
Croc on crate.
Yeah, yeah, that's
How do you remember that?
Crack on crate.
okay. Remind me
Guys,
that.
next time I'm gonna have to get her to give me the character cheat sheet.
Yeah. But anyway, so he's just like, I can't help you this time, Yennefer. You betray your country and all these things. And of course, Yennefer's like, let me just talk to you for 5 seconds. And then it cuts and they're eating dinner together and she's having her own homemade meal that she preferred because she doesn't want any seafood because she just fell into the ocean and
She
stuff.
just was like,
and he's just like, so tell me, Yen. So you like it's reminding you that she's very charming when she wants to be.
he does call her Yenna because Geralt's the only one who calls her Yen.
Yenna, that's right.
And she's like, by the way, like you have wives, right? Those were your wives, right? And he was like, yeah, whatever. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about those bitches. Like, just let's talk about it.
He's just kind of like a lovable philanderer, kind of.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
because,
kind of gruff.
Yeah, like you can just tell he has a soft spot for her, and like who wouldn't, based off of the description of her that we've so far received. But anyway, she explains her position. She's like, "Look, I actually am here," and the reason she actually does get his attention in the first place, and she's like, "I consider myself the mother of Ciri. She needs my help. I want to go do something for her." And so that's what grants her this opportunity to talk to him because he also like was very close, of course, with her as a child.
Ciri used to visit Skellige when she was a child. And as Chris mentioned in the thing, there is like a timeline discrepancy here that fully just doesn't really make sense because Krak is like, yes, Ciri was here when she was 15, which does not make sense because she was 12 when the Nilfgaard attacked. So, like, he says specifically because
I was so
Ciri
confused.
had a little flirtation with his son, who was 15, and he says Ciri was almost 15. And I'm like, unless 11 is almost 15. Like,
no, it's the same thing. I was wondering the same thing. I was so confused when I was listening. I was like, because Yennefer specifically asks, like
how old were they? Yeah,
and he says my boy was 15, and she was, and I was like, didn't she just turn 16? So there's no way this could happen because it said prior to this moment that she was around a 16-year-old.
Unless like Croc was just like fundamentally wrong about the ages, it just doesn't really track.
I just don't know.
Chris says Sapkowski is bad at math. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what it is. But yeah, so basically she's like, okay, well, to get to Ciri, I need to make a scrying thing, which means I need a big gem. But oh no, the only place on the island that has a big gem is this temple of women who worship a mom and aren't going to like her. But
luckily,
she saved that pregnant woman.
Right. So, but the pregnant woman's like, oh, you can't actually take that jewel, though. That belongs to our goddess. But why don't you come pray with us?
No, it was
and
not the pregnant
Yennefer's
woman.
Like,
it was a different woman.
Pray,
but yes.
Stupid religious thing.
Yennefer's like being like an atheist. She's like, oh my god, this fake magic. That's stupid. And
being
she's
a
like,
atheist.
This the lady at the temple is like, someday people are going to talk about your sorcery like this too. And she was like, me. But they quite literally like can't take the diamond off of the statue. It's like affixed to it.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but so she's like, okay, fine. It's weird, but sometimes religious people can do magic. Sorceresses think it's weird, but okay, maybe I'll just fall asleep. And she falls asleep and has a dream with the goddess who kind of like gives her a prophetic dream of Ciri and of Geralt. And the thing is, this plot line, it's interesting because it does challenge Yennefer in certain ways. But at the same time, I don't know where this arc is really going for Yennefer. In the last book, it was pretty clear that the Geralt's arc was like, you need to accept your friends. And here it's like, I don't quite know where we started and where we're going because it's been such a long time since we really interacted with Yennefer. It's been like 2 books, and I'm just not sure like how this is going to help her grow. So I'm like, right now I'm a little confused about it. Oh, and Chris M says also this is where her backstory shows up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
do
see
get a
a little
flashback.
flashback to when Yennefer was like before she was a sorceress, when she was a little hunchback girl, just like begging for her parents to love her. Essentially,
Yeah.
it's really sad. Like,
Super sad.
Yeah.
The only thing I can garner from Yennefer's journey is something along the lines of redemption on just putting Ciri in this position in the first place. And also, in a way, the burdens of having a child, which she wanted so badly. She has
and
this.
she wanted one because she wanted to give it love that she never had, and she's like, I fucked this up. Like, I
Yes.
wanted
And
a
so
Yeah,
child.
that's
she.
true.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like about her paying that love back.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that kind of also makes sense with this, specifically a mother goddess that she's interacting
Yeah.
with. Yeah, then she goes on a boat and gets into a whirlpool and gets lost. And
Yes.
Oh, and Crack on Crate previously tells Yennefer, like, I know Ciri's alive because every time, like a potential to like the throne or something, because Ciri and his son were almost engaged or something. There's always a really bad storm when someone dies. They shouldn't, like when Pavetta and Dooney died. Like, it's not normal. And Yennefer's like, I don't know if that's real, but then another crazy storm happens.
Yeah.
and then basically, well, let's cut back to the end of Yennefer's after we talk about what's going on with Ciri, because that's going to
Yeah.
connect.
Yes.
We left off with Ciri when
She's
just
just been
got-
captured by Bonaparte.
So
Yes.
Bonhart took her to a blacksmith, and he was like, "Show me all your swords, man." So the blacksmith lays out these swords, and I think the blacksmith is like, "Unleash this girl, man. What's your problem?" And he's like, "No," and he's like,
in my
"Unleash
house you
her."
will.
Yeah, and
Yes.
he's like, "Fine, don't do anything crazy." And like he's like looking at these swords, and he's like, "All right, Syria, attack me, attack me, Falca." I
With
think
this
he calls
one
it.
that has like a snake skin, I think, or something skin like that, on the pommel. Like, it's really described like what type of swords these are, and like what kind would suit her weight class and everything.
Yeah.
And so she attacks Bonart, but it didn't work out. It's because, well, in general, also because she's, enslaved. But it was a little too heavy, and so then the blacksmith, really like famous, obviously blacksmith dude that has like a whole, like, I don't even know how to describe it, compound for his business. He gets something, and it's described as and maybe hopefully Valerie remembers the actual name of the weapon, but it's described as having,
Zariel, which means swallow.
oh yeah, no, I mean, like, it's a gnomish something.
Yeah, a gnomish. I don't know the specific word you're looking
No,
for
but
on
it
that.
doesn't matter. The point is it has she explains, she's like, it's a flatfish that has a stinger on it, and then what's his face is like, oh, you mean a stingray? And she's like, sure. And so it has stingray skin as the pommel, which is really cool because it sticks to your hand.
Yeah.
And it's a gnomish design. It's a special design. It's like 200 years old, and it has these sigils on it. It's like a tower.
A
And
tower of
it's
swallows,
yeah, and then
tower of
there's a
gold or
swallow,
something.
and it's her name, of course, is the swallow like design and everything. Oh wait, a gwir. Yes, that's right, a gnomish gwir.
Thank you, Chris.
I remembered the sound of it sounding really cool. And so anyway, she's like, there's like this magical moment too where she's like, it's in its box, and she's like, ah, and then
It's like the prophesied sword.
yes, the blacksmith
And then
is like,
Bonhart's like,
"Ah!"
don't touch that yet.
And then yeah, he's like, not right now. Now's not the time.
but he does
And,
take the sword.
And they do take the sword, and then basically he takes her to a really rich fat guy, and you would thought he was bringing her in for a reward to a different person, but this guy is kind of like, oh, why don't we do this kind of crime thing? And he's like, sure, but I got Ciri first, and we're gonna make money off of her. And basically their plan is she's gonna fight in some like gladiatorial
Coliseum.
games. There's an absolutely hilarious moment where they're going to the Coliseum, to these blood games, and there's a guy outside protesting, being like, this is, no, yeah. He's like, this is completely immoral, it's barbaric, and the fat evil merchant is like, no, it is, but we won't be having any animals. And the man goes, okay, all right, bye.
Yeah.
That was
You
so
guys
funny.
hurt dogs. These dog fights are inhumane. He's like, don't worry. Today we're just fighting with a little girl. And he's like, peace. I'm out.
No, what's in particularly funny is the wording is he was like, he said, animals are like humans too. And so it's funny that he says that. And then once they admit that it's just humans fighting, he's just like, oh, well, all right. And there's also this like really queer lady that, and I mean that in the
Oh my
old fashioned
God.
sense, that she's very strange.
She gets real horny watching these fights.
There's like a decadent kind of court that of
Yes.
rich
It's
people
it's
that
a little
Siri gets
Squid
paraded in
Games.
front
It's
of.
a little like
Yeah.
just rich people like beyond who have just seen everything. They're just like,
And they get her
"Whoa."
high on cocaine again
Mhm.
before like she goes down there. They're
But
like,
this time,
"Oh,"
like even more so than before.
but it's like
this is
really
strong
depressing.
stuff.
It's like super depressing during the scene because like they're in the lavish setting first, and they're like, yeah, scoop it up and sniff it or push it in your gums is what Bonaparte says, and she's like, no, I don't want to, and then he's like, well, we can, your mucous membranes aren't only in your mouth and nose and everything. He's like, we can find more creative and interesting ways to do this, and I can just strip you naked here, and we can engage in those ways, or you can do this yourself. And that's what makes him so horrible, is that he doesn't want to do that. He's not. He's not in it for the sexual satisfaction. It's
Yeah.
literally purely do it, or I'm going to tell you and reinforce when I tell you that I have power over you. And that's what really sucks. And I guess that's the abusive part that you guys were mentioning.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it really is because again, he's not like
Lascivious.
lasciviously, but he will. He does
It's a
show
weapon.
power over her in very callous ways that are nonetheless very disturbing for how callous and practical they are in certain ways. And this whole sequence with her in the fighting pit is actually really good because it's kind of told from her point of view, but kind of not. But she's like kind of going in and out, and there's kind of a madness to the scene of people showing up and laughing, and like because some people come up to get her to get revenge for some other people she had killed. And the fat merchant is like, well, if you want her, why don't you go in and claim her?
Yes.
But she has a sword.
It's fascinating because the scene I think is technically from her perspective, and because her like senses are so heightened from like the fist tech that she took, I
Yeah.
think she's like kind of hearing their conversations like out of context almost. And yeah, these like these four men who were supposed to, who Bonhart promised to give her to, and changed his mind, show up, and they're like, "We're getting our reward," and he's like, "By all means, go in and take her. She's right there." He like
Well, only
throws
two
the
at a
sword
time.
But no, he says they impart that on themselves. They're like, I'm not going to kill a girl. Like,
Yeah.
come on, we don't need four of us to do that. They are insulted personally by that.
Well, the fat guy with the jowls, and I mean this just that's literally how he's described. He's like he's
they
described
describe his jowls a little too much. Like,
a lot.
It's
lot.
kind of a very stock, like evil I was kind of surprised he wasn't Middle Eastern because that's usually how that stereotype plays out of that kind of a character is like, oh, the decadent East kind of character. But I
Yeah.
guess they're in wherever.
Yeah. But he
yes.
specifically ends up saying, he's like, okay, let's make sure we get the rules right. And 3's a little too much, 2 at a time. But if you go in 1 at a time and you go in there and you best her, I'll give you 500 more than what I was originally offering if you're all by self. And so that's when people are like, well, of course I could do all by self. But that doesn't go so well. It's because Siri, of course, annihilates everybody that comes in. But then what I thought was interesting is that, and it does make sense at this
she
point, especially
begs
with her.
them not to attack her. She's like,
Yeah.
please don't make me do this. Please don't make me do this. And they're like, you idiot girl, I'm going to kill you. And she's like, please don't make me do this. It's really sad.
It's interesting because the thing is that there's a bit of a tension or a disconnect here because for us, this is a horrible scene of watching Siri, who has like these cool Witcher powers, have to butcher people, and that's really, she does not want to, and that's really horrific. But at the same time, canonically, she's been being like a really shitty bandit and
Yes.
murdering and pillaging and maybe ravishing people, and so it's like,
I think
this shouldn't be that bad.
I think what it is that like Bonhart broke her in a way. Like when he was like beating
brought
her
back
up,
to
putting her on a leash. Like she's a little broken in this moment, and like
she's moved past that confidence.
She's changed.
She's not confident
from
anymore.
the like little rat that she was between now and then. Like
Yeah.
it's I understand what you mean, but
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that's incorrect. I mean, I think it still works as a sequence because we just haven't been with her through all those terrible things. So like, that's where we've been. Um, but
She
yeah,
also
so she
tries
kills him.
to. Do you mind?
Yeah, I do.
go ahead. Katie.
Jesus, I'm talking, woman. What is with this gibber? No, I'm just kidding.
She also then at that point, because the one guy that's come to collect her for the other guy that's looking for her, basically, he's just like, you know what's gonna happen if you don't allow us to take you?
Yeah.
This, and that. And it's all super depressing. And so she's like, yeah. And so she turns the blade on herself and she's gonna impale herself through her heart. But then we jump back to her current narration of it, and she's like, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
There's a really
Bonhart
great thing that
yells
Bonhart
out.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about how like what she's been doing up until now has just been like instinct, but this will require volition on her
Character.
part and strength of character, and she doesn't have it.
And
it's one of
Bonhart
the
reveals that he knows that she trained at Kaer Morhen at this point too. He's like, "What
Yeah.
did you learn at Kaer Morhen? You know how to kill monsters. You don't have it in you to do this." And then we go back to Visagata, and she's like, "And he was
I'm a
right.
coward.
Yeah, I didn't have it in me to do that."
Yeah, and it's a really good scene. Again, it's one of the ways that Bonhart is like really just like you really hate that guy. Like
Yeah,
it's
He
nice. Like
sucks so
you
bad.
really hate that guy. And it is nice because in between these, like the old guy will kind of comfort her, and it's kind of a nice way to be distanced from what's
kitty.
going on. Otherwise, it'd be too depressing. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I really like the sort of frame narrative of going back to Visagata and him just being able to be sort of like an older fatherly figure and being like, wow, that sucks, and it makes sense that you reacted that way. Like, it's
And kind of
like,
validating her like a little bit, which is nice. And then I get a little bit confused about what happens next because the timeline jumps around a lot because I think this part is told through that villain. I think the female villain I think tells the
Yes,
next part of what
correct.
happens to Ciri,
Kenna?
if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, so this is happening in tandem with Ciri recalling the last things that we talked about. There's a different sort of recollection, which is like a court case kind of between people recounting. Am I?
It's
if
really
I'm not
funny
mistaken?
'cause- Yeah, it's again the books are funny. There's like the one of the witness keeps saying things that the judge is like, we don't care about this part. Just get to the point. Please stop with this or that. It's very funny.
I do love the humor in this book. I'm going to be honest. I couldn't tell you. I don't remember all of the names of the characters in this. I'm not going to be able to recount it. But it is like it's a good addition to the story, I thought.
Yeah, there's a psionic like telepath type person who is with a squad hunting down here Ciri. And this squad is led by Howling Moon,
Tawny Owl.
Tawny Owl, close.
I was
Or,
gonna say, do
Stefan
you mean
Skillen.
Tawny Owl?
Yeah, Stefan
Tawny
Skillen,
Owl.
we could also just say.
He's Skellen. Well, I was wondering why
It's the same
Chris-
guy.
Oh, okay, all right. I was wondering why Chris thought. I thought Skellen was the shitty sorcerer they run into. And I was like,
Ryance?
"It's not
No,
that
Ryance is
great."
Ryance
Yeah.
kind of sucks, but
Yeah, basically they're going to hunt for Ciri, and instead they catch this guy called Ryance, who is a minor
he was in
villainous sorcerer who
Time of
is-
Contempt. I think maybe Blood of
He's
Elves
just a
too.
lackey of Vildefort's.
Mhm.
I was very depressed that there's no use of rest and piss in this book. I thought maybe they had
Oh
been
my
referencing
god!
that
Don't
for
don't
the
bring
later
that
part.
up again.
But anyway, Villaforts is talking to him. They catch him, and then Villaforts talks through a box and is like, "Oh, you want Ciri, but
He's
I
got a
want her
little
too." Yeah, but he can't see them, so it's just him talking to the air sometimes, which is kind of funny. And basically, they go and they find Ciri with Bonaparte, and Bonaparte has just
Bonhart.
Bonaparte.
All right, my boy Napoleon.
And he's just been like traveling around with her, I think.
It's just
I
yeah.
didn't quite get why he had left the fat guy Death Arena.
I don't remember exactly. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember why exactly, but for some reason they have, and they're now just like wandering around.
He's probably just keeping her close. They might have been going back there eventually to do more evil circus stuff, but
Even circus stuff. Yeah, no, but basically, they're like, oh, it's Ciri. Okay, we got her, and Bonaparte's like, okay, I guess we can do whatever we want to with her, and then Val's gonna take over because I'm getting a little bit ambiguous as to what happens next.
I don't remember. Essentially, Siri escapes. She escapes from these people,
Yes.
and this
Well, okay,
is
so what happens is the telepathic girl tries to read Ciri's mind, and that reawakens Ciri's magic, which has been dormant since baptism of
Yes.
fire. And so she like fucks shit up, and somebody hits her with a shuriken on the way out, and that's where her scar comes from. And
Yeah,
then
shuriken.
we've
Is
now
that what
looped
her
around
face is from? Is a shuriken?
like
pretty
a
sure.
throwing star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it like a throwing star?
hmm
Oh wow! I just I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be from a sword or something.
No. And so basically, this is then how she then showed up at whatever his face's house is. The guy.
Yeah, she like passed out in the bog, and he found her. So that's how she got. That's the end of her
Yeah,
little frame.
that's how we're back to that part.
And
of the
Visagata
book.
is like, you should stay like through the winter, like like you're welcome here. Like we're buddies now. And like Siri's like, no, I have to go before I don't remember the exact like if she had
So-
a specific timeline in mind for what she had to do, but
And it's also that they they thought she was dead. Everyone thought she was dead, but actually they don't. So now they've been setting out like shitty people to watch over each of the villages. So she's like, I can't stay here and do nothing. And then Chris says
Siri
that
jumped through space and time to get there,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, which is what they figure out because earlier in the book he was like, "No, this wound's been here for a while," and she's like,
They
"No,
were
it just
arguing
happened."
about the dates. They're like, "What about
Yeah.
these dates that are not accounted for?" And Siri's like, "That doesn't make sense. This it can't be the right date." And he's like, "This is the right date."
And so the next thing that happens is she shows up, she fucks up these people who are in the village being terrible to people. You know, it's interesting. This book has a lot of villagers just silently suffering through troops being there or bad guys being there, which is kind of like the last story as well. Like Sapkowski very much cares about like normal people and what their experience is dealing with terrible people. Which is like a nuance that you often don't, or a detail you don't really get in these kinds of books. And then basically, yeah, she fucks them up, and she's like, "I am death now." Like, well, she doesn't say that, but she's just very like dark.
She says something
she the
almost
night?
like that.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh." There's one part where they're like, "Oh, it's just one girl. How dangerous could she be?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"That is like a John Wick reference or something."
Yeah.
I'll probably like notice that because she loves John Wick so much.
Well,
And then what happens?
Let's continue.
And then what happens is that she basically decides to go towards the Tower of Swallows, which is like an elven ruin.
Before we get there, I just want to mention one more thing because this is pretty much the last of the book.
Yeah.
But there is a moment where Yennefer uses the
Yes.
diamond, and she is able to speak to Triss. And Triss has been like about like trying to find Yennefer because Triss is the only one in the lodge who Yennefer probably wouldn't like try to kill on sight. Like Triss is the only one who's in Yennefer's good graces, and Yennefer's like gets a hold of Triss and she's like, "Hey, what's going on? Are you alone?" And Triss is like, "Yeah, I'm totally alone." And she's been sleeping with Philippa Eilhart in the room. Yennefer's like, "I know you're not alone. We're friends." And like Triss is like, "Oh, oopsie."
You
And
dumb slut.
yeah,
Style.
but Philippa comes up and is like, "Come on, Yennefer, you got to work with the lodge." And Yennefer's like, "Absolutely not. Like maybe this is what's best for Ciri out of everyone else's thing, but I'm her mother and I'm not going to let you guys touch her because you just want to use her too." And she's like, "Triss, you consider Ciri your daughter. Come on, back me up. Or not your daughter, your sister. Like, back me up on this." And Triss is just like,
I can't.
"I can't, so I'm sorry." I'm like,
Okay, fine. Yeah, you said that this was Triss at her most cancelable, I think is what you said.
I don't know,
And I
yeah.
said, I can still fix her because I can. And so basically we should continue then Yennefer's storyline, which is basically the evil squad that was trying to catch Ciri. They actually catch Yennefer because the vortex she got caught in was from Villafort's. Like a no rust and piss, which I thought was weird. And Yennefer gets tortured by the underling sorcerer.
But so trite.
And it's trite, but it doesn't work, which again, as like, I don't know how this became my thing on the channel, but I don't like when torture works because it's not realistic. And in this case, it doesn't really work. I think this is where she gives up.
Yeah.
Right. This is where she gives up where Geralt is, but she won't give up where Ciri is, and that's kind of where she's left, is just getting tortured essentially. But this is I think when the evil hunting troop goes to get Ciri as she's going towards the tower, and it
I have one more thing. I'm sorry. I do think it's very funny that like Yennefer during all of this is like, I know Geralt. He's probably getting distracted as we speak.
She has
like
no faith in him.
Yeah, like he'll say he's looking for Ciri, but then like he's gonna
get caught up in somebody's woes and worries
that doesn't belong.
Yeah,
to
there's
him.
gonna be a cat stuck in a tree, and he's gonna lose track of time to go fix that.
That basically, yes.
And it's so accurate to him. It's like,
because it's exactly what's happened.
Like 3 times. So the people are right on Ciri's tail, and she's crossed a frozen lake, and they're gonna follow her.
This scene is so cool.
This is a cool scene because they like they're following her, but they can't
Bonhart,
see.
Skellen, Tanya, or same person, but like they're trying to stop her. Yeah,
and they're trying to stop her, but they're like, oh, she's gonna get us. There's like a sense of paranoia, and they're like, what can one girl do? But it's like they're all worried about it. And
Bonhart does not get on the ice. Like he like thinks about it. He's like, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna be over here. And they're like, what the hell, man? It's just a girl. Her footsteps. He's like, I'm over here.
I'm gonna get my horse. And basically they realize the tracks stop, and it was an ambush. And actually, she has skates on
that she took from Visigoth because his daughter knew how to ice skate or something.
Oh, okay, I see.
And she basically just kills a bunch of them.
Oh, it's
really
incredible
nastily.
though, because it's kind of from like the perspective of these 3 men who are like, where is she? What's happening? Like there's like fog around it, and she will just skate out and like zoop past and like stab someone. And it's the way Ryance dies, who's just the sleaziest little useless guy in the world. Like he like falls into the ice, and he's like clutching the ice for like thing, and Ciri skates over his fingers and takes all of his fingers off.
Yeah, because earlier he had promised her she would learn pain at his fingers, and so she's like, to me it was a little bit ruined because I could not visualize it not as like a slasher movie.
It was very slasher movie. It was like, it felt like a horror scene. Like it was, I kind of liked it. I thought it worked really well.
No, I thought it was okay, but it was a little bit ruined for me because again, I just kind of thought of it like, oh, she's roller skating. Oh, it's nice. It's ice skating. And like Bonaparte is gonna come get her, but there's like a crack in the ice, so it's gonna have to wait for the next book. And then she proceeds to the tower, which is ruins, but she sees an elf, and the elf is like, oh, you finally made it here. And the book ends.
No, she walks up and she's like the tower kind of like reconstructs.
Yeah, doesn't she go to another realm when she?
Yes, and yeah. So and then like because it's sort of like it's basically Halloween, so like the ghosts are out, and we Visigoth.
Oh, that's true. There is that whole thing. Yeah, that is also part of
like had been hearing like a banshees, and he was worried about Ciri. Turns out he died as like shortly after Ciri left, and so she kind of sees his ghost for a second, and she's like, oh no, you're dead, that's really sad. And he's like, it's okay, girl, like go on, do your thing, it was great meeting you. So she goes through the Tower of Swallows and steps into a different realm, and our boy Avalok is there like playing his little song, and Ciri's looking around. He's like, took you long enough, and then fade to black. That's the end of the book.
And you're like, okay. Again, this is not a bad book. You can probably tell from my retail, from the parts I talked about. I enjoyed a lot of this book. I thought it was good. It's still way head and shoulders above everything else we read on this channel. I just in the second half was like, let's start finishing up some of these storylines. Like, okay, get to the tower.
That. Fair enough. I do understand that. I'm so fond of the world. I have no problem just existing in it.
And again, there was like this whole interlude with a spy and a king and a queen who live forever, and she reads the Bible that's not a Bible.
Yeah.
And that's like funny. Not super relevant to the plot, but it is to the overall war that's going on, and that is kind of told well. And I love war stuff, and they're 3 really fun characters, and he's really good at that kind of stuff. There is really a kind of slice of life quality, cozy slice of life quality to his writing that I think
I agree
makes
that
the books very readable.
the overall structure of these is messy. Like the plot is like just it's just paced strangely as a series.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking back on like the short stories, those are so much stronger in a lot of cases just because they're contained and like you can hop from thing to thing and like they're
Mm-hmm.
doing exactly what they should be doing as short stories. And then the novels, it's messy. It's like sloppy, but I
Yeah,
love it all the same.
this is a very competent author who loves his own world that he made, and really, I think this is just a good testament to why a video game could have even been made out of this novel series, because there's so many explorations of these side characters. So in the end, even though it might be messy and even though it might not be as tight as it could be, I don't think that would have benefited what this author wanted from this. And so to see an artist be competent enough and also pursue what it's the same thing as like when I look at like a Picasso or something, I'm just like, I hate this art. I don't like most impressionistic art. I think it's like, it fully depends on emotionally does it speak to me, which I again, it's impressionistic, so that makes sense. But it's the same thing here. It's like it might not be tight and commercial, but I don't think that really matters, and I think that it's really good regardless. And I think that's the world itself, at least you can enjoy and really go off into in the interim, and at least it's fun when you do that.
Yeah.
Chris M had, and she had also said this in her final thoughts, which is this book is a string of short stories tied through two frame stories, Kenna's trial and Siri telling everything to Visigoth. I do think the frame story helps a lot with the cohesiveness of it. I think what it is it's almost like his attention span is exactly as long as a short story, so you didn't notice it in short stories, but here he kind of keeps switching between different ones in
Yeah.
the same like size. But I did enjoy this.
It's very comic booky in that way too, which really serves itself to for the whole video game thing. God, I swear to God, if this new video game isn't magnificent, I'm gonna be upset.
They
I
gave Siri wrinkles. They gave Siri wrinkles, guys. The good woke gamers have won. They're trying to make us all into cucks and beta males.
I'm not
Pronouns.
addressing you, but I do think like you guys can see it like reading these, right? How well they would translate to video games. I feel
Yeah.
like if this is as a novel series, it works so well. Just like the whole
The
like
detail.
and a traveling kind of
Yeah.
like a blue collar philosopher monster
Mhm.
killer thing who just like he just like bonds with people a little too much and then
There's
moves on to the
constant
next one. Like
there's constant opportunities for side quests and like
yeah,
at one point
the
literally
short
she was
story
gonna go
mindset works really well with a video game because quests.
when Yennefer was gonna go to the temple, I was like, oh, they're gonna have her do something before she gets it, and like that's how it would be in a video game. You'd have to do 3 of a thing before she got the thing, then do the next thing.
Yeah.
And thankfully that wasn't the case because it's a book. But yeah, if the format fits really well. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little bit wary about the next book because I think it's going to have more of the problems that I had with this book, but at the same time, it's the last book. He really needs to be like it has to kind of tie these things together in a way. So at least some of these things are gonna come to a conclusion.
I'm scared too, man. I don't know.
I was scared
I've read it already, but like
that not last book but the book before, where we ended on Siri in the desert after the fight on, was it Tanith or whatever.
Oh no.
But yeah, that. But I felt like I knew what direction this was going in, and I've been fairly like. Plus, you guys have also been like, oh, and so as we progressed, it's exactly that. And so I feel like I know exactly what's gonna like. Not okay. Rephrase. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but emotionally, I feel like I know what's gonna happen, and I know based off Chris M's stuff that I'm not going to be happy. And that's fine because luckily for me, I've already consumed too much of this media, so it's already ruined the effect of it. Like if I had read this first before anything, I think I'd be heartbroken. But luckily, the shitty show, the video games, which were really shitty before the third one, honestly. Like no offense, no shade, but like
I think the second one is considered to be good. I liked his outfits more than in the third one. I'll say that there's an extent to which, like, even if the last book is messy, I still like the series the same amount because I know going in that it could be messy. So I don't think I'll be disappointed. I just don't think necessarily know how much I'll enjoy it
Chris,
per se.
Look at just.
I gotta say one more thing before
Yeah.
before we go though, because like at the end of like the Geralt's company, the Hansa, like at the they're going to go to Toussaint, and Dandelion is still like, no, we can't go to Toussaint. But they're like, oh yeah, the Duke recently died. He's like, oh, the Duke died. Oh yeah.
I'll
Let's
see you
go
at the
to Toussaint,
castle.
boys. Let's
That
go.
was so
And
funny.
absolutely, this is a great idea. Why didn't we decide to do this before? And I am so entertained by the Toussaint parts in the next book. At the very least, I remember being like, oh boy, you guys.
Well,
Oh,
it's him
boy.
playing around with expectations and tropes and stuff, and that's like what really made the first couple books
Yeah.
work well. So it'll be interesting to see him do. But yeah, if you are watching this, which weirdly nobody watches this, but then we get lots of comments on them. I think we have a very
I'd
small
still-
but devoted.
If you do
fan
watch
base.
these, please comment and tell. But it's very nice when people are like, "Oh, I love the Witcher reviews." I'm like, "Thanks for being here. It's real sweet."
because these videos don't
Yeah,
do
Toussaint
well.
sex vacation. Hey, can't wait. That's
Is he ever gonna
exactly
be-
that's
If
what
you
I
made it
call it
this
in my
far-
head.
If you made it this far, hashtag sex vacation.
No,
Oh,
that will not help us with engagement into
No,
Oh.
they're gonna think.
I'm sorry.
Hashtag-
Not that then.
Not
Hashtag
that.
Katie's wrong.
Well, are you guys looking forward to us doing the third book? Do you think we'll
The
do you
third
disappointed?
book?
Not the third book, the final book.
The
Of the
20th
trilogy
book.
of
12th
7
book?
books.
sixth
I
book.
still would like to do the problem is there's two
There's
short story
prequels,
books.
yeah.
Then there's 5 main books, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
The first 2 are The Last Wish and
Sword of Destiny.
Sword of Destiny, and then there's Time
Blood
of
of Elves,
Contempt,
Time
Blood
of-
of
Blood
Elves,
of
Time
Elves,
of Contempt, Baptism of Fire,
Tower of Swallows.
Tower of Swallows,
Lady of the
and
Lake.
then Lady of the Lake. So there's really like 7 books, but
And then there's 2
there's
prequels,
5 in the series.
which I have not
Yes. And apparently he's writing another one, so that could be good.
Oh, he's still alive?
And
read. Yeah.
so I think after we're gonna be doing Lady of the Lake, the last one next month, and then I think we can take a break, and then maybe we'll do the game. I think that would be kind of cool to do, because it takes place afterwards, but it's not by the author, obviously, and it's a different medium. So I think that could be kind of interesting,
Okay.
and then maybe some of the prequels or something like that. But
Yeah. Take a little Witcher break, do some other stuff, but I am interested in the prequels also.
I did download the game and I already played through the tutorial bit, so I'm
I love
literally
The
at the
Witcher
perfect
3.
stage.
The Witcher 3 really feels like a love letter to the books in a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
does.
ways.
I did the combat system really well. Ellen was impressed. Okay, all right. Thank you all. We love you, our parasocial darlings. Thank you, Chris, for showing up again. You're
Thank you.
officially part of the crew. All right.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.